Hey guys, Loco here. For you today, I have Dignitas versus Cloud9 for my Loco recap. Also, my room is really clean because I recently had a party, and my room is really clean after parties because we get people to help clean out, and yeah, that's why it's clean. Anyways, C9 looks like the best team in the league right now, and Dignitas, they started out white hot, but they are cooling down as the weeks go on, so I really want to see where they middle out at. And I think the game versus C9 is going to be such a good measuring stick because C9 is on another level, and if they can actually keep up with them, then we can really see where they are in the standing. So without further delay, let's get started with the draft. So the bans are pretty standard. I think the Elise is a sniper ban towards Blabber. Irelia is a little bit weird, but not too weird. The interesting thing is Dignitas first picking Tahm Kench. I don't think Dignitas is a particularly good Tahm Kench team, but I think C9 is an excellent Tahm Kench Senna team. So this is more of a takeaway first pick, more so than Dignitas being like, man, we're such a good Tahm Kench team, we're gonna play it ourselves. And the really interesting thing is the GP versus Aatrox. So there's been a lot of discussion about this. I mean, some people have been telling me, some pros like the Aatrox side, some pros like the GP side. So it's a very close matchup. I think currently the win rate is 45% Aatrox, 55% GP in professional games when those two champions are against each other in top lane. There's a lot of nuance to the matchup, right? GP wins early game because of his range Q and corrupting pot plus his passive. It's really hard for Aatrox. But later on in the game, Aatrox, once he has his one item or 1.5 item, he can really run down GP, especially if GP doesn't see him coming or Aatrox is able to jump GP from the brush. And even in laning itself, it's actually not just purely GP favored once Aatrox gets a few levels. As GP's exploding his barrels, if Aatrox can land his Q, he'll knock up the GP, and GP won't get that speed bonus from getting the barrels to be able to run away from the Aatrox, and Aatrox can actually close the gap. So it's a matchup with a lot of nuance. But one thing I do want to say is the matchup is a lot easier to win from Aatrox's side. Once GP starts making mistakes and Aatrox can get a kill on GP or a lead on GP, the Aatrox can just run over GP. The GP has better laning, but there is a mechanical essence to it, like that barrel thing I talked about. And also GP just has to consistently maintain his lead, use his ult swell, use his teleport swell, constantly be very on point regarding the barrels. GP is also the easier side in terms of getting dope. There's just a lot of things that GP has to do really well to win this matchup. So just keep that in mind. I mean, we can talk all day about whether or not Aatrox or GP counters each other, but hopefully I explained to you what are the good things about Aatrox, what are the good things about GP, because you see a lot of times where people are picking GP into Aatrox, and you also see where people are picking Aatrox into GP. So let's talk about the rest of the matchup. I mean, Rek'Sai into Lee Sin, I don't think this is the best, and I love the Jarvan ban from Cloud9, because Dignitas desperately needs a way to engage and desperately needs a way to make this comp function. When they pick Rek'Sai here, I really think the Orianna pick also becomes really awkward, because they're pretty much a 1-3-1 comp, right? They have the Senna, they have the Tahm, they have the GP. They need to make sure this Ori pick is actually something that can split push and can be fine mid game being in a side lane versus an Aatrox. But yeah, I just don't really like it. And especially because they have Rek'Sai here, I think this pick has to be something like a LeBlanc or something that's very gankable mid and that can play well with a strong jungler, because Ori Rek'Sai is not really great as a duo, and Rek'Sai really wants to be able to abuse his early game because later on he has very little utility, like beyond mid game. If Rek'Sai isn't fed, the only thing he can really do is tunnel flash knock up someone. If he doesn't have one-shot potential on a carry, Rek'Sai just becomes useless as a champion. So I think Dignitas' 4 and 5 draft were actually really weak. As for Cloud9, this is a very typical Cloud9 comp. I mean, a lot of engage, a lot of flank potential, and I really like the Zoe pick here. I don't think Dig has a really good way of engaging on the Zoe, and when Zoe's in situations like that, where she doesn't have to worry about engages so much, she can take over the game. And Niski's, I think, the best Zoe in LCS. Bjerg is up there, but right now, with the way Niski is playing, he is by far the best Zoe. So anyways, those are the two comps. Dignitas has a weird 1-3-1 comp, or he's going to have to side lane later. Rek'Sai, not really a great fit in the draft. Cloud9, very typical Cloud9 draft. Can 1-3-1, can 1-4, a lot of flank potential, a lot of playmaking potential. So let's get started with the game. So the first play I have for you is Greg kind of inting it. Blabber doing a really good job of staying still and not showing. There he's clearing the ward when Zoe's Mia and Ori doesn't have prio. It's just asking to get killed. Just a very silly mistake from Greg. And yeah, not much to say. So you can see in top lane, Actually, Huni's ahead in terms of CS, 27 to 26, and he has a wave coming. But this kind of chunk from Blabber, where he's able to get that Q on Huni and also the Zoe redemption and push Huni all the way out and deny this wave also. Huni's losing a huge wave to turret is really, really bad for GP. Remember what we talked about before the game started, how fragile this matchup and how crucial it is that GP stays winning from the early game. Yeah, stuff like this really hurts for the GP. So here we have C9 doing Dragon with bottom priority. I think it's really awkward for Dignitas to walk in here because it's a Nautilus plus Aphelios who has Gravitum, so they can chain CC very easily, starting with Hook and then switching targets, going on Afro, and then the Gravitum route, Vulcan Flash Auto. Luckily for Afro, the E from Johnson saved him a little bit, but Niski came in with the bubble. Yeah, just really good on C9 to rotate, and also just kind of bad from Dignitas. I'm not sure why they went in there. It is a lot of chain CC. They don't have priority in mid lane. They don't have priority on bot side. I just think Dragon isn't worth that much early, and if you are the weaker team, you have to let things like this go. Just dumb play from Dignitas. So it's about 8 minute 20 into the game. The bot lanes have lane swapped for the Herald. We see this play almost every single time. Looks like Dignitas starting this up. Alright, we can see Niski landing a nice bubble and then threatening the poke on Froggen. But watch Blabber here. Q, Flash R Q. Oh man. So Grig was level 5 and Blabber was level 6. So it was a hard fight for Dignitas in that sense, especially since they're on Herald 2. But Blabber just played it beautifully. Q Flash R Q. The only way Rek'Sai can really counterplay that is if he knocks up the moment that Lee Sin flashes. So C9 able to get the Herald, Zven almost killing Afro off of the Calibrium Chakram combo, but just nicely done. Niski was able to distract them and make sure Afro wasn't near Grig to help out regarding the Lee Sin, and Blabber just finding that correct angle and going all in. While this might look like a simple kill, it highlights so many things that C9 does well, so I really want to show you guys this play. You can see Blabber backing, Licorice backing, and then they changed their plans. They're pinging bot side like crazy, and Licorice is going to TP behind, and they're going to 3-man run down this GP. And Niski roams so much. You can see he's 40 CS down on Froggen. A lot of it's from roaming. Huni forced to burn the flash earlier. Licorice has the flank angle. Huni's not really going to be able to live. And while this is all happening, Zven and Vulcan have pushed out topside, and they're rotating down to mid lane to be able to collect the farm and also deny Froggen from further getting any kind of plating or extra gold. Just nice shift play from everyone on the map. It maximizes gold for everyone, and it makes sure they're always like moving on to the next play without falling that much behind in tempo. Just well done from C9. Now, this one's also a very interesting decision making from C9. We usually don't see this that often. So they're going to use Herald, and they have the right side of Dragon. Normally you want the left side of Dragon to be able to push out mid lane and transition to mid lane if possible. But what C9 does is they actually put Dig on a timer by starting the Dragon immediately and using Herald. And while I was talking about all that, Niski got a really nice flank. And yeah, they're going to be able to get Dragon and force Dignitas to back up. So in a delayed situation, the team that's on the left side of Dragon is way better off, but C9 actually being on the wrong side of Dragon and just making the play happen by starting Dragon immediately and using Herald, and yeah, forcing Dignitas to respawn. Just so nicely done. And Niski had the perfect angle for the bubble, for the Q, so he was able to poke people out. It's just these little things that C9 does that makes them better than other NA teams. So we have Zben actually going the wrong way. He should be walking with his team, but really good on him to dodge the Oriole without flashing. Allows him to flash over the wall and actually live. Now C9's going to be able to turn the situation. I don't know how that hook hit, but able to chunk out Afro. And Grig on the wrong side, he's going to get caught out. Just a mistake from Zben turned into a kill for C9. So this Dragon is very important for both teams. If C9 gets it, that's an Inferno Dragon Soul. So it's very important that Dignitas does everything in their power to prevent this. But they're walking into a small choke versus champions like Zoe, Aphelios, Nautilus. It's a nightmare situation. So easy to land pokes when people are walking in through that small choke. But really look at Froggen here and really look at Licorice here. Their positioning is what really makes or breaks this fight. So Froggen looping around to try to go on Zben. He's able to flash ult Zben, and Zben doesn't have flash. So Zben ends up dying, but Froggen's going to die instantly after. And now, with the good Nautilus ult, Licorice just gets in there with Flash Q as Aatrox with his ult activated, and he's able to just wreck everyone. So yes, Froggen did get a nice ultimate to kill Zven, but he was basically trading 1-for-1, even though he did chip Niski, and it just gives so much space for Licorice to go in, and Vulcan just had a beautiful ult there too. And he also already has Stoneplate. Like, Stoneplate supports with Aftershock is just unkillable. So yeah, look at Vulcan's ult here and look at Licorice. Those are the two real key factors. Vulcan just staying up front. He knows he can just tank everything. So starting on Zven, he's going to insta-die. They use a lot on him. Now Licorice coming in. Vulcan with the hook ult on Johnson. And yeah, everyone just goes boom. Well done from C9. That's going to give them Inferno Soul. And that's pretty much GG. So C9 is really ahead at this point. They're pushing up mid, able to land a bubble on Afro. Afro has to cleanse. And they can just walk down mid. Oh, Johnson in awkward position. Good eat from Afro, but Licorice going in afterwards. And yeah, they're able to completely zone out Dignitas. They did get caught a little by all the catch tools on C9, but they're going to have to give up this turret. You can see C9 pushing deep before they do Baron here, because it's going to force Dignitas to check every brush before going in. And C9's also an incredibly smart team, and they're a team with very good macro. They're just not going to let a 50-50 happen. Watch what they do. They start Baron, and people are waiting. Licorice is in mid lane, so he can get the flank angle when people commit into C9. And Niski looking for bubbles over the wall. And watch Vulcan here. Vulcan knows exactly what he should be doing. Aftershock and Stoneplate support. Watch. He just uses his tools. He uses Aftershock. He presses the Stoneplate button, and he's just unkillable. Ugh, that needs to get fixed. Like, Leona and Nautilus with these like Stoneplate are just unkillable for such little gold. And it makes the game really not fun, because you can't ignore Leona. You can't ignore Nautilus. These champions do so much CC, and they wreak havoc in teamfights. So yeah, this is such a broken combo right now. But you can see how well C9 played that situation. Niski knew exactly what he had to do. So did Licorice. That's why he stayed mid-side. And so did Vulcan. Just everyone on the team knows exactly what they should be doing. You can see C9 splitting on both mid and bottom, slowly playing for the inhibitor. Dignitas actually has really good wave clear, because they have Gangplank and they also have Ori. Both champions excellent at wave clearing from a distance. And yeah, C9 can't really seize. What they need to do is slowly get it by splitting the two lanes and using the cannon minion buff by Baron. And they have a minute left on Baron. They should be able to get both the nibs here. And they can't really force people to back up. I mean, Vulcan can walk up and threaten a little bit, but yeah, he just can't do much. It's not really a team fight situation. It is more of a siege situation. I mean, Zven trying to get whatever's possible. I'm not sure why he used the Chakram ult there. He probably should have used the Infernum ult or the Gravitum ult. The Chakram ult was kind of a waste, especially when the wave wasn't even there, so he can't hit turret. Looks like C9 was able to get mid turret though with the help of 3. Able to get bot turret. Able to get mid inhib, and they're just going to rotate, and they should be able to get bot inhib also. Vulcan look for a hook, not hitting it. Niski looking for a bubble. And yeah, they have both inhibs, and they're just going to back up, take Elder. I think there's no way Dignitas can really enter into their own jungle. They have such little control, and anyone that face checks into a Nautilus hook or a Zoe bubble is going to insta-die. So yeah, Elder going to go over to C9 pretty freely. So C9 was able to get Elder. They all reset 5, and they're pushing topside, starting with a hook into Nautilus ult on Johnson. Blabber went for the kick also, but Afro was able to eat Johnson. Johnson still dies. Licorice just running train on Dignitas, and this game's over. I think the point I called it was absolutely correct, where the Inferno Soul was given over to C9. The game was just over. Well done, C9. So C9 continuously proving to rest of LCS that they are on another level. It's not just individual players. I hope I showed you all the little macro stuff that they do better than other teams. I don't think Dig drafted particularly well, and I think some of their limitation is showing with the champion pool. Yeah, they have homework ahead of them. Like Froggen, he is not the greatest when he's not on these control mages. Yes, he can play other champions, but he definitely isn't the outskill. Like, I am that week 1 best mid in LCS player when he's not on the Orianna, the Victors, the Anivias, the Vel'Koz, the Kartuses. And Huni also comes with his own limitation, And also, you can see him break like this, and when Huni breaks, I feel like there is no coming back. And also, Grig did not have the best week. Both games kind of atrocious. The Elise game, the Rek'Sai game. I think Dig needs to kind of look at their draft and see what was really working for them well early, where they really did draft to the strengths of their players, and they don't have to worry about strengths of the comp that much, but more so, are we getting the right picks that make sense overall while making our players comfortable? I think that's their big homework. And C9, just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are killing it. I love LCS teams that play properly and that just win. I mean, C9 plays properly and win. I think a lot of times TL played way too conservatively and won, and so did TSM. They played such a team fighting oriented draft and team fighting oriented style that wasn't good internationally, and C9 does a lot more flank, C9 does a lot more split push, so it's really nice to see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And one last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Later, guys.